everyone, and welcome to Distortion Gems number 7. I'm here, Kevin, with the star of the show, Deke, and this is our best of 2024. So these are just things that we have either bought or new releases, or it's not necessarily stuff that was released in 2024, just anything that we've acquired in 2024 that we would say, this is a standout thing. This is a standout item I bought. All of it's music related, but it might not all be music. There might be books and other things in there. Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? So I basically have 10 groups of things, and you said you had 13 groups of things, a lucky 13?
Something like that, yeah.
So maybe we'll just let you go first, and then I'll go, and then you can just mash up your last bit all together at the end. How does that sound?
Okay, so how many do you want me to do off the top?
Just one.
Just one? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So as everybody knows, thanks to that guy sitting next to me, the real star of the show, the one who puts it all together.
I'm sitting next to you?
Yeah, well, kind of. About
virtually.
Yeah, about 1,300 kilometers separate us.
Yeah.
But thanks to that guy, he got me hooked back into CDs. So
yeah, I'm a bastard.
That's a good bastard because you probably saved me quite a bit of money, actually. So one of my favorite ones I got on CD, which I reviewed at the channel, was this one, Twisted Sister, the Stay Hungry reissue. And the real kicker for me was the addition of a live show, actually from '84. So yeah, pretty cool little package here, as you can see. And you know, they had a couple of bonus tracks, studio bonus tracks from the '84 Stay Hungry sessions. And yeah, I consider this a real fine update. And it sounds great, and they did a good job on it, and I like it.
Cool. That's awesome. That is on my Amazon wish list.
Nice.
So yeah, I when we talked about this, I thought, oh geez, I'm not sure if I'll have too much, because it didn't feel like as if I bought a lot this year. Mm-hmm. But then when I started writing them all down, I had a big list. Oh, I guess I did okay this year.
You did okay.
So just to narrow things down, I eliminated stuff that I had already talked about on the show. Mm-hmm. The two biggest ones were the Ozzy Speak of the Devil, which I had passed on like years ago, and then I finally refound it. You can see me talk about that in a previous episode. And then the Thin Lizzy Armed and Dangerous live. Those were two big gets for me. That one I got at the Sudbury Records show for a really good price. So I just wanted to give those two a mention. So then for the rest of the stuff on my list, I just kind of gave them a little category, like as if they won some sort of an award, which I don't know if they actually did. But anyways, so my most listened to CD for this year. And this CD, it just, I have a 5-disc CD changer, and I would put CDs in and I would listen to them. And then eventually the CD changer would work its way to this CD. And it would start playing, and I'm like, oh, this CD again? I better swap that out at some point. And then I would end up listening to the whole thing. So I guess I really enjoyed it. It says $2 on it, but I picked it up at the Hawk Exchange, and it was half price day, so I got it for $1. And the album is, well, this album kind of changed titles. It was originally called, I'm going to show it, and Deke's going to tell you what it was originally called.
Damn, I'm brain farting, buddy.
Oh, he doesn't know. Wow, I stumped the Deke. All right.
Damn, 9 a.m.
I finally finished 2024 on the right foot. So this is Lee Aaron's first album. It was originally called the Lee Aaron Project.
That's it.
But then it was reissued in 1984. It originally came out in 1982. She came out with 1984 Metal Queen, and it kind of took off. So then they reissued this. And yeah, I really dig it. It's got some good stuff on there. I think Under Your Spell has the Rick Emmett on it playing on guitar, and then there's some other singers and stuff like that she kind of duets with. What's that?
Santers.
Santers?
Yeah.
Is that his name? Yeah, Rick Santers.
Yeah.
And what do we know him from?
his own band, Santers, and
he was called Santers.
He was also, yeah, and him and his brother. And little tidbit here, he ended up playing rhythm guitar and keyboards on Triumph's Sport of Kings tour.
Wow. There you go. Look at that. Deep with the facts.
Well, I had to redeem myself after I brain farted there.
Unfortunately, it is the BMG version. But whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
I should get it a new case, though. It looks like someone snotted on this one. I should clean it up. But it really was in the CD player for forever, and the case was on the shelf, so I hadn't looked at it until today when I pulled it out. Finally took it out of the CD player.
Nice.
But yeah, good times. I really enjoyed this. So this is my most listened to CD of 2024.
I would have never saw that coming.
I didn't think I would be mentioning it, but there it is.
So one of my other enjoyable CD listens to, it was from a band that came to town back in March. And all the shows I've seen in Thunder Bay, they almost sold out, or did sell out, 1,500 seats. And that's these guys, Skid Row, with Live in London. This is a pretty cool package. It's the CD version is 16 songs, got all their hits that everybody knows and stuff. And the second disc is a DVD Blu-ray. And yeah, it's put together really nice. I also reviewed this, so you can find it on my find it on the channel and whatnot. But another little tidbit, as everybody knows who's a Skid Row fan, that Eric Gronwall has, left the band and yada yada, and now they're singerless again. But Thunder Bay was his last ever Canadian show with Skid Row, and this was called obviously Live in London, not Ontario, but England. So another solid listen. I mean, they're a solid band, good solid tunes. I mean, when they want to rock out, they rock out. And yeah, I immensely enjoyed it because I enjoyed the show when they were here.
Cool. Okay, so for my next one, I got the best. The next category is the best new to me artist. This is an artist that I never really listened to before, but we were gonna, for the summer, we were going away for a trip, and I was getting into making my own server, and I was putting my music on my server so we could listen to on the trip. And I put in this one CD. I'd ripped my CDs onto the computer, and as I put this one, I'm kind of anal retentive when it comes to like where the music should be categorized and all that. And I had all my Tragically Hip in there, and then I put in this one album, and this one album messed up all of my Tragically Hip stuff, because the song on here that the Tragically Hip did on this album, they did it with this other artist. Can you guess the other artist from the Men with Brooms soundtrack? You know who the Tragically Hip performed with? I like it. I'm stuffing all over. So the first track, it is called I don't even know what it's called, Silver Road, and it's the Tragically Hip backing up Sarah Harmer. And I had never, who the heck is this Sarah Harmer? Why is she ruining my my set list? Like, why is she ruining my Tragically Hip stuff? And so, I've been in there. So as I was out and about on our trip, and we would stop in at all these little record stores and CD places and used places, her name kept popping up. I kept finding her stuff for like $1 or $2. So I ended up picking up 3 of her CDs. And I enjoyed them all. I had never heard of her before. Well, I heard of her, but like this one, I think, was the big album that she had with her big hits and stuff. And I recognized one of the songs on it, and I thought she was kind of like mostly that kind of music. But if you listen to her other albums, especially this one, I'm a Mountain, she's kind of more folksy and like Joni Mitchell side of things, and really good stuff. So
nice.
Yeah, I listened to Sarah Harmer a lot, and that's my new to me artist of 2024.
Nice. Well, as you know, I have really no new to me artists in any of my piles. They're all from the old fart rock and roll.
I actually had 2. I had to pick, because the other one was Diana Krall, who I kept finding her stuff for really cheap, and she has some really excellent sounding CDs, and she almost made it in there, but she's more of on the jazz side, and I kind of like Sarah Harmer's music a little more. So
nice.
Yeah.
So, as a music collector or fan and whatnot, I usually when I get a copy of one thing, I'm usually good with just having the one copy. And if there's bonus tracks and or demos and whatnot, I'm usually good just to have the original copy and stream the rest, because how many times are you actually going to listen to demos, right? So I got this one album that I got when I first started buying vinyl 7, 8 years ago, and did some research and kind of came across this on Amazon. And once I saw that they included a bonus live CD, I had to snap up and grab the Scorpions. I love this thing. And the real selling point for me, this is a 3 CD package. Well, 2 CDs, 1 DVD. Has the original album, and it also has 5 demos on the first CD of the recording sessions of the album, and the second CD is a 11-song live set from Madison Square Garden from the Worldwide Live Tour, which isn't on the Worldwide Live album. This was the selling point for me, was to get this show, and man, it's phenomenal. If you like Worldwide Live, the Madison Square Garden one is a must that you should get, and it's a pretty cool little package. Whoop, there's just something popping out there. Doesn't want to stay in, but anyways, it's a nice little 3 CD package here.
Yeah.
And there we go. You got the boys in the band there.
That's cool.
So yeah, you know what? For me, like I said, the real selling point was that second CD. It's cool to hear the demos too and stuff, but love me the Scorpions, Madison Square Garden.
I like it when they package a live show from the era that the album came out, like the supporting tour kind of thing. It really, adds a whole other dimension to that era of the band. You want it captured.
Absolutely, and it is captured. It's a little more raw sounding. It's not as like Worldwide Live is a little bit polished,
Yeah.
This one, the drums are a little more raw sounding, but it's just killer. So if you're a Scorps fan, you can check it. And they've done the reissues on all of them, like Blackout and Animal Magnetism and Savage Amusement, but they've only included straight CD and DVD. And for me, I wanted the live show separated, and that's the one I got. So yeah, great listen.
Cool. So I went to see a few live shows this year. I saw Ian Thomas, the Stampeders, July Talk. Can't remember who else. There's been a few, but anyways, by far the band that had the best merch table, by far. Because I like to go to the merch table and see what kind of vinyl's there. And the band that had it. What's that?
Were you naked?
I wanted to be. I wanted to be free, but society will not allow me that pleasure. But by far the band who had the best merch table, and I picked up the most amount of vinyl, was Big Sugar.
Nice.
So this is Eternity Now. This is the album that they were technically sort of supporting, because it came out in 2020 and they couldn't tour at the time for it. So they had to wait till March 15th, 2024 to come to North Bay, Ontario, which is just an hour away. So it's kind of half supporting this, and the other half was the reissue of 500 Pounds, which came out on Third Man Records. So that was kind of the other half of the support going to it. They actually played this album in its entirety at the show. I did a review of it on my blog, so you can check that out if you want. So I kind of expected those two albums there, but they had a lot of their backlog there, which I wish more bands would do. Get your stuff there, because I will buy it.
Yeah.
So I got Calling All the Youth. I got the Yard Sale album, which is like a acoustic album. I got the reissue of Heated, which has a bunch
Nice.
of. No, this one doesn't have. This one is just the straight up album, but it's on like 4 sides. It's a big album. Sorry, I'm thinking of Heavy Vision, which has a bunch of extra stuff on it. This
Nice.
one has the demos, early versions, Lost Take, dub mix. They got a great version of Judgment Day on here. It's good stuff.
Awesome.
So yeah, went to the show and I just like, give me all the vinyl. And then
Yeah,
you want to know how much they are? Nope, just give them to me. I'll buy them.
Yeah, and that's smart on their part. I mean, you're taking out the middleman. You're supporting the band direct, and that's like I'm like yourself. I always hit the merch table, and if there's music to be bought, I'll buy it. And but it also boggles my mind when bands show up and they don't have music for sale. It's like, really, like missed opportunity. But
yeah, like a lot. Some of it's logistics. Some of it's the nature of the show themselves, which I'll get to in a little bit. But yeah,
nice. So that's it for my CDs. So we're gonna shift it into one of my what I would consider a good solid read that I finally, believe it or not, just finished. And it's this guy, Alex Van Halen, writing the book dedicated to his brother, Edward Van Halen. And yeah, I got this book back in October, a few days before me and Sui went to Toronto. And, I was power reading it. And then when I got back, it took me a while to finish it. I pick it up, read a chapter here, read a chapter there. And then for some crazy reason, like 2 weeks ago, it just clicked into me that finish this damn book. And, it's a good read. I mean, as I talked about it before, I think in one of the other episodes, it only goes up to the end of 1984. Alex, he don't like Sammy. I think he's okay with Mike. He doesn't really say anything. He said he was a solid guy. So I guess, coming from him, I guess that's good. But they obviously had a lot of conflict and issues with Dave, but he respected the work ethic. And that's the big Van Halen thing that I got out of this book, was their work ethic. They got that from their parents. And, Alex says it right in the book. Him and Ed would argue about things. They would argue about things that they both agreed with. Like, they just argued all the time. And I will wrap it up. I mean, everybody should check it out, read it, or listen to it, whatever your audio, whatever your choice of listening or reading is. Little tidbit that I didn't know, and I'll throw it out there, is that the Van Halen classic 1984 album was originally titled Animal Farm. So there you go.
That's a twist.
There's a twist. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Animal Farm. Yeah, 1984 is a much better title, I would say.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. My next is the best box set of 2024. Now, this is a box set that didn't come out in 2024, but I bought it in 2024 because it went on sale on Amazon. And I probably bought this mostly because Deke nudged me to buy it over and over again. Actually, there was 2 box sets that Deke nudged me to buy over and over again. So this one isn't the one you're thinking of, Deke. This is a different one. This would be, and it's heavy too. I got to do some more weightlifting. I got me the Black Sabbath Live Evil.
Yes.
Super Deluxe. So yeah, it was this, and for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, that was kind of going back and forth. But at the end of the day, the live show on here, I mean, it is a live show, but the alternate mix to the live show on here, it's just so phenomenal. It sounds so good. I imagine it sounds good on vinyl and CD. It doesn't matter what version you got.
No.
But I did get this version because it does have, first of all, it was on sale for $81 on Amazon. So
steal the deal.
Yeah. And then just all the artwork and everything in it that honestly, I mean, it does come, the Van Halen Unlawful Carnal Knowledge does come with a book and that. And it's all great. It's all good. I like it all, but just get to some of the stuff here. But like the book on here just had a lot of its own unique, like this. I guess this is the
Tour book.
Tour book, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably just like the tour book itself. The real deal is probably a little bigger, but
yeah,
that's still pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool that they did that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It was like you were there, and then you get a poster. I'm just going to show you a poster folded because I'm too much of a collector to even unfold a poster.
Rip.
No,
Rip.
I don't want to be like Bill.
No, that was a great moment in video Bill.
Classic Bill on YouTube. Go check out the Start to Continue channel and watch Bill rip up posters. It's not even his own. It was his kid's Harry Styles special edition.
Oops.
Anyway. Black Sabbath Live Evil, fantastic. If you don't own it, if you haven't even listened to it, give it a shot. It's awesome.
That remix show is worth the money,
right?
Yeah. And I'm actually glad that, I think I bought that in June of last year or the year before. Yeah, June of 2023. And I'm glad to see that Sabbath didn't just reissue the remix separately. They may at some point, but you know how the Tragically Hip has done that in the past, and it's really jerked my chain when it's like, damn, guys, I could have just waited for the Roxy separate. But anyways, not going down that road. So the rest of the stuff I got is what I would consider some of the cooler vinyl that I picked up during this year. Leading off the pack is, I've got a pal here in town. His name's Chris. He runs a side hustle called the Vinyl Frontier, and he likes to bring in some European bootlegs. And it's kind of good that he'll shoot me a text or shoot a bunch of us Old Man Record Club guys a text and say, here's my pile of stuff I can get. What do you want? And I'll say, I'll take that one, that one, that one. And one of the ones that I got that I just love is Van Halen from 1978.
Yeah.
I mean, this is them playing in England, as you can tell, it's from 78. And that's a picture from 1982 from the Diver Down tour. So you got to love the bootlegs, the unofficial releases. But you can pull this one up on YouTube from Manchester, and they're on fire. The sound is really good. I mean, you got Dave saying, hey, baby, we're in Manchester, the rock capital of England. Like, he's throwing down all the shtick. And the best thing with them opening for Sabbath at this show is there's a bit of a bass solo, a bit of a drum solo, and Eruption. So Sabbath had no problem with Van Halen doing what Van Halen was going to do. And I guess that's why they always remained friends with them over the years, because speaking of Alex Van Halen, he talks very fondly of touring with Sabbath in his book. And so, yeah, if you come across this or pull it up on YouTube, Van Halen, Manchester 78, man, they were on, no pun intended, on fire back then.
Yeah, with all the amazing bootlegs of live shows from that era of Van Halen, I mean, it's got to be coming, but I'm still surprised that there's no official, late 70s, early 80s live show released. Like, well, how has that not happened already? How have they not done that already?
It's like that. They've always been lazy with stuff.
Yeah.
And now they're finally getting into the Hager reissues, and which is great, but there has to be some untapped live gems sitting in that 5150 vault. Fair warning. I mean, come on, man.
Gotta be.
Put out that show from that tour.
Okay, so for my next one is a CD, and this is an album that has spent the most time on my wish list. So this is a want that I've had since I started getting back into collecting back in 2015, 16, 17, somewhere back then. I started like a want list, and one of the ones that stuck in my head was an album that a roommate in college of mine had, and I could stream it, but I had never seen a physical copy since college days. And when Sarah and I were hopping around Southern Ontario there in the summer, I checked out this one place's website, and they said they had a copy there. And sure enough, I went in there, and I finally found myself a copy of George Thorogood's Haircut.
Nice. That's a great little album, man.
Yeah. And look, it's so 90s, with all the clip art.
Yeah.
and that. But yeah, he had this. I always loved the eyeball for the CD.
Yeah, that's a great album. I like how that the color combination pops out at you.
Yeah, and yeah, like we used to listen to this quite a lot. You know, put it on, drink a few beers, and yeah, I've always meant to get another copy or get my own copy of it, but just have never seen it. I don't think it came out in 1993. I don't think it's ever been reissued or anything like that. And yeah, they had a copy there for like, I don't know, $8 or $9, and boom. So finally, after, you know, almost, maybe not quite a decade, maybe let's say 8 years, 7, 8 years of sitting on my wish list, I could finally cross it off. There you go.
All right. So continuing the vinyl European, my pal Chris, Vinyl Frontier, I'm throwing out a shout out. He's on Facebook. If you find stuff, he will ship it to you. He's that kind of guy. He's, like I said, he's got a side hustle going. He brings in some real cool titles. And another one I picked up from him was another European release, is Cinderella, Monsters Are Out from 1987. And this is 8 songs. They do a pretty cool cover of Jumpin' Jack Flash. And yeah, it's got it's got all the hits from the debut. Nobody's Fool and Shake Me being 2 of the bigger ones, but the real selling point for me was Back Home Again, which is one of those end of the album, or kind of underrated gems from the album. I guess I think it ends the first side of the studio Night Songs record. But yeah, this is pretty cool. Neat little package, and the sound on it, I would give it 8.5 out of 10. So that's the thing, and that's what I love about these records, is they're all on YouTube. So when he posts the picture, I go to YouTube and I listen to the audio, because if it's just an audience recording with somebody yelling, I don't want it, because I ain't going to listen to it.
Right.
No matter how cool. I'm not buying it for the packaging. So once I heard how good this sounded, I think I might have even heard it at his house. He had a copy, and I said, whoa. And he played it, and I thought, hey, I need one of those. So I got it. So yeah, Cinderella, Monsters of Rock, August 30th, 1987. Just seems like yesterday.
Yeah, Cinderella is a band that I need to get more of. I think I have, just checking here. Yeah, I just have the one album. I have Heartbreak Station. That's it. So that's a band that I really want to get the subset.
And that's the thing, that first cover of Night Songs, the image became a thing. But if you get into that record's more straight ahead, AC/DC driving rock, and then 2 years later they put out Long Cold Winter, and they're showing a bluesy rock side to them.
Yeah.
And then Heartbreak Station comes out 2 years after that, and they've totally changed gears. But they weren't following trends, is what I really liked. And there's a 4th studio album called Still Climbing, which I would probably consider almost one of their best. And it did nothing because it came out in 94, but it's got some solid rock tunes. And Kiefer is very underrated singer-songwriter. I mean, he wrote all the tunes, and I'm glad he came to town about 6-7 years ago. He put on a fantastic show. And yeah, it's one band. And the great thing about Cinderella, Kev, is they don't have a huge catalog for you to find.
Yeah, it's only I guess I'm only missing 3 or 4 CDs, right? The 3. So
yeah,
but yeah, they have like a full collection thing on Amazon, but it's always like really expensive, and I don't know. I also have one song on the Wayne's World soundtrack. So
yeah,
I can't remember what it is. Anyways,
Hot and Bothered, I think.
Hot and Bothered, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that
did come out on Still Climbing, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what they did. It's on Still Climbing on the studio album as well. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I consider, you have your collection, your music collection, which is everything, and then within your collection, I have subsets. Basically, subsets are, for me, artists, like different artists whether it be a band or a solo or whatever. That's like a subset. I don't put stuff into genres or anything. I just everything alphabetical. So one of the subsets, it's a small. So this is the smallest subset I was able to complete. That means I got everything that the artist has officially released done. So this was my smallest subset that I completed in 2024. And this band, I only had the one album. They're a band called July Talk, a Canadian band. And this was Touch. I only had this one. And when we went down to Southern Ontario, and we were going through all the stores and all that, I eventually found their debut album, July Talk, and then their two other follow-up albums.
Nice.
So you got the what is it? Pray For It. And this was the latest one that came out last year.
Cool.
Remember before. Yeah, it was a little expensive, $33 for this one, but then, I figured out how much I'd have to pay on Bandcamp to get it and to ship it and everything, and I was like, yeah. And they all came with digital codes too, so I could just put them into my computer and not have to rip the actual vinyl. So yeah, I was a little disappointed because when we went to go see them live, they didn't have any of their stuff at the merch table. But again, the nature of the show that I went to see, they were performing at the Northern Lights Festival, which is basically a show that's put on and subsidized by the local government. And so they just kind of get bands to come in and fill spaces on there. So it wasn't really a July Talk show. Like, it's kind of weird when you go see them. There's a lot of July Talk, like, people there that are specifically there to see July Talk. And then there's other people that are there just to support the event. So there's a bunch of people there that they don't even know who July Talk are. They're just there to listen to music, right?
Fair enough, yeah.
So yeah, they didn't have any of the stuff on the merch table, but I was able to complete that set. So good stuff all around. I enjoyed all these albums. Good Canadian band. And I was happy to cross them off the list to see them live because when we went, I think I've told this story before, I'm not sure, but when we went to see in 2022, we went to go see Jack White. And my buddy Bill from the STC pod, he's getting a lot of shout outs on there.
Yeah,
he got us the tickets. He got Sarah and I the tickets. And I asked Bill, I said, who is the opening act? And he said, I don't know. It's June something. And I said, oh, okay. I don't know. June, like some lady named June. So I pictured some lady named June with an acoustic guitar or whatever. So we get to the event and I'm hearing this music because it was at the Molson Amphitheater, whatever it's called now, Bud Stage or whatever. And I could hear this music. I'm like, this sounds really familiar to me, but I couldn't, like, it was the acoustics weren't really there. And when we got there late to the show, right? And the parking was atrocious because the C&E was happening at the same time. Parking was just a mess. So when we finally get in and we walk in and I could hear the music right and I could see them on stage, I thought, Jude, this is July Talk. Are you kidding? We missed July Talk. I got to hear one song from them. I'm like, Bill, I would have insisted that we got there early if I knew it was July Talk, not June.
Damn Bob Dylan fans.
Yeah. Come on, Bill. Should have known better too. Like, Jack White is not going to put some slouches performing in front of them. So
yeah, for sure.
Anyways, they put on a great show in Sudbury. Anyways, good band, July Talk. Check them out.
Good stuff. So moving on, one band that one of the bands that I got back into in 1982, ironically, it was kind of funny because when I was a young guy back in 1982, it's like, why is this band calling it quits? I don't understand. And that's these guys, The Who, Space Stadium, 1982, on double vinyl. And it's basically the full show. And it's really cool because I think they took out a lot of in-between song banter. So, Daltrey will say a bit. Maybe that's how they did the show that night, but they just plowed through a ton of tracks. I mean, you open with Substitute, Can't Explain, Dangerous, Sister Disco, Quiet One. Of course, they do, Eminence Front, Behind Blue Eyes, Bob O'Reilly. They do all the Who stuff. Kenny Jones, I love me the Kenny Jones period. I'm probably in the minority by saying that, but my album, my rules. But if you're a Who fan, you should get this because they're really on fire. Another band that was on fire, the Who, live at Shea, and neat little double gatefold. Not too much in the packaging ways, but they let the music do the talking. So I'm glad that this got released this year, and I know I bugged Kev about it.
It's on my wish list. It is. And that I do agree that era of the Who is underrated. They were still cranking out some really good songs, especially Eminence Front. It's just a phenomenal song. It's probably, I would almost say it's I'll say it's easily my favorite Who song that is not on Who's Next. Is that fair to say? I think so.
Fair to say, and you can watch a lot of TV shows or movies, and you'll hear it because that song, you can listen to it now, does not sound dated. You don't say, "Oh, that's from 1982," or no, it sounds like Pete could have recorded it this year. He had that back thing with. And speaking of Who's Next, I listen to Who's Next, and I say, "Boy, this album doesn't sound like it's from 1971," because he was like cutting edge of technology, especially with that synthesizer. It sounds current today even. So he's a genius. He's a grumpy genius, but he's a genius.
Yeah. Okay, so we went with my smallest subset. Now this is the biggest subset that I have completed. I'm pretty sure I've completed this subset. I think I've gone to the discography many times, and I scanned through it, and I think I have everything released by this artist now. Major release. There are still some box sets that I don't have or whatever, but all of this artist's major studio albums and live albums, I think I have now. I think it's complete. And so the artist in question is one of my favorites, Tom Petty.
Yes.
So I got myself on CD, Highway Companion, because the vinyl for this is like impossible to find. It'll be re-released at some point, but for right now, I got the Highway Companion. I also got me the first Mudcrutch CD, which is basically Tom Petty. Like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers were originally called Mudcrutch. That was like their first band. And you listen to it, and it's still Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. They just kind of do some, I don't know, there's a little different vibe to it. I picked up the 2022 release, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers Live at the Fillmore from 1997, which I did have a bootleg of, but now I got the official release. I got Mojo on the red vinyl. I do have the CD of this as well, but it was reissued. Finally got myself a legit copy of The Last DJ. This came out right when I was in my CD burning phase. So I had a burnt CD of this. And this is kind of like, I don't know, kind of gets trashed. It's always at the bottom of like the best Tom Petty albums, but I think it's solid. I don't know why it's down there. Into the Great Wide Open, which I had on CD forever, but I got myself a vinyl copy. And then thanks to my buddy Deke, I finally got myself a copy of Live at the Plantation. She dropped off at my house one day, just said, "Here you go." I said, "Thank you, sir. Thank you so much."
Had to pay for rent.
Yeah. So there you go. So I'm pretty sure I have all of the major releases. I might be missing something. I don't think so. Maybe one day I'll go to a store and I'll be like, "Do I have this?" And I'll find out that I don't. But I'm pretty sure I have everything.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a great Petty collection there. And that's sometimes the thing. What doesn't resonate generally with everybody else's taste, you find that album that everybody trashed that you even like more. And people don't give that a chance. It's kind of weird how people go like, there's probably a few albums if I really put my mind to it that like people diss this album, but frick man, I love it. So
actually I have one coming up very soon. So
nice.
Just for you, Deke.
Oh, sweet. Must be Nickelback. So earlier this year, who I would consider the best frontman metal singer currently in the genre is this guy, Bruce Dickinson.
Okay.
And before he put out the full album, he put out the Afterglow of Ragnarok, which it's pretty cool little 45 here. You can put a comic book in it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's just like I think I got it, pre-ordered it on Amazon for like $18. And the cool thing is the flip side is a demo version of Eternity Should Fail that if you're a Maiden fan, you knew that ended up on their Book of Souls album, which was the opening song. And they, of course, Maidenized it. But Bruce included the demo version because his version of If Eternity Should Fail ended up on the studio album, the Mandrake Project. So speaking of which, and then a few months ago, I was in Sunrise Records and I came across this for $8 and I decided to grab it on CD, and it's a 3-song EP, which was plugging his current single at the time, Resurrection Man. But the selling point for me, once again, was he included 2 live tracks, The Afterglow of Ragnarok and Abduction. And, neat little package here, CD. And, of course, earlier this year when he dropped the album, I had to get the full album.
Of course.
Very, very good listening. With Bruce, it's going to be a bit of a concept album. Of course, Bruce, he touches on a bit of the occult, power, greed, struggle, and it's very good. Some elements, if you're thinking it's Iron Maiden Mach 2, it isn't. He does his own vibe. Some of it almost like the second song on here, Many Doors to Hell, almost has a Deep Purple vibe to it. And, he shows his roots. And, you know what? It's a very good listen. And that's the other thing I started poking along, was picking up, I think I picked up his debut, Tattooed Millionaire on vinyl, and Balls to Picasso on vinyl, because I've always enjoyed his solo stuff. And, another one to check out, the Mandrake Project. I mean, the Mandrake goes all the way back to, if you're keeping score, Maiden's Moonchild from Seventh Son. Hear the Mandrake scream.
Right.
So all these years later, he did a concept. So enjoyed this one.
It's on my wish list. It's on the Amazon wish list.
Good stuff, buddy.
Okay, so we were talking about artists we love, and but albums. An album that might not be as loved. This is my okay. So earlier this year we got the call that every collector loves to get, and it's hey, my dad is getting rid of all of his vinyl records, and he wants you to come down into his basement and go through his vinyl and just take whatever you want and just offer him whatever you want. So this guy is a really good friend of mine, and his dad started collecting records in the 60s, and he never stopped collecting until the 1980s. And it's interesting because his collection went from stuff that he liked to stuff that when he met his wife, she liked, and then to stuff that when they had kids, they liked. Like, he kept buying records for his kids. So it was fun. It was fun because I like a lot of the stuff from the 60s and stuff that he liked, and Sarah liked a lot of the stuff from the 80s and that the kids liked, because she would have been a kid at the time. And then we both liked the stuff that his wife liked. So we both found some great stuff. So I think we came away from that haul with 75 records. And I offered him like $2 a piece for all the records. So everything I got. So I did a whole video on it on my channel if you want to go check it out. But the one album, so this would be the award given to the album that I bought that I never thought I would buy. Never thought I would buy this album in 110 years. I did not want to touch this album with a 10-foot pole. Because even though this is an artist that I love, I would even say it is my favorite band of all time. But there's one album that I have I did buy it on CD back in the early 90s. I bought it once. I played it a few times and I just threw it away. I don't like this album at all. And I thought, I'm never going to get this on vinyl. I even went as far as to say my subset of this artist is complete. It is done. Except for that one album I don't have on vinyl, but I don't care because I don't like that album. I have it on CD. But there it was for $2. And I said, well, I guess I'm going to have myself a copy of Blow Up Your Video.
That's awesome.
On vinyl. Here's my original CD that I bought back in the 90s. And it's hardly been played. Been played a few times. But then, yeah, so there it was. And I'm like, well, if I'm ever going to get this, I might as well get it. And he kept good, like his records were in good shape,
Nice.
This one had a little bit of damage on it because there was some moisture issue and some of them kind of stuck together, but whatever. For $2, whatever. And I did listen to it again. And I got to say, it's not as bad as I remembered. Not as bad. I still don't think it's great, but it's not as bad. The first two songs, Heat Seeker and That's the Way I Rock and Roll, those two songs there's better versions of them on AC/DC Live, but they're still okay here. And then Two's Up is a good song.
That's a great song, and I like Nick of Time off there. I think I like that record.
Yeah. I know you like it, but I don't know. There's just something a little bit off on that one. But anyways, there you go. So there's another subset complete, I guess.
Right. That's what it's about, man. Yeah. Being a collector and being a fan of the band, you get the good and the bad.
Yeah.
So, all right. One album that I bought when I was down in Sudbury record shopping with Kev, and I got it at a pretty decent discount. Queen Rocks Montreal.
Yeah.
What a fantastic live album. This is the Tour from the Game, which is my favorite Queen album because that was my entry point into Queen. And a lot of killer stuff on here. I love the fact that just the four guys, they weren't carrying an extra keyboardist. They were doing everything themselves on stage. And what a killer version of Dragon Attack on here. So grab a copy on CD, on vinyl, give it a stream, man. Queen Rocks Montreal.
Yep, I have it on Blu-ray. That's a good.
And Freddie and his tidy whiteys.
Okay, so my next two. So I have my albums of the year. So this first one is my non-heavy metal album for the year, and then my next one will be my heavy metal album of the year. So this album was released in 2024, and I bought it in 2024. Anytime I see this artist, when they put out a new release, I buy it right away because their stuff isn't mass produced. It isn't always readily available. Mm-hmm. Whenever you see it, you just, whatever the price is, just take it because you might not see it again. Even though they are gaining some popularity now, so there might be some reissues and stuff. But the track record has been that their stuff disappears quickly. So the artist is named Krungbin, and the album is called A la Sala.
Out of the cellar?
A la Sala. A la Sala. Oh, that's the price. A la Sala. So Krungbin, this is a band that my wife, Sarah, discovered. She discovered them in a Corona commercial, not the coronavirus, but the beer. It's one of those like where they're sitting at the beach and they put like a lemon or a lime slice into the neck of the bottle, and this music's playing in the background. She's like, "What is that?" Well, it turned out to be Krungbin, and that was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago, or maybe even longer that she discovered them. And then so once we got into vinyl, we started buying all the Krungbin. So they're a really cool band. It's just a drummer, a bass player, and a guitar player, and a majority of their music is instrumental. The drummer lays down a loop, and he sends his loop over to the bass player who does her thing, and then she sends it over to the guitar player who does his thing, and it all comes together. There's some great videos on YouTube where you can watch them perform and do make their music and all that. It's fantastic, and every time they put out a release, it's just home run after home run. So this was their first album of original music that they did front to back in a while, and they still got it. They still got it. So if you ever want like music, you know, like you just want that calm Sunday morning music where you can sip some coffee and read or play Wordle or something like that, they're the perfect album for. Those are the perfect albums for that kind of vibe. So
nice.
Khrungbin, Khrugin. I think that's how you spell it. Something
there
like
we go. Have to check it out. Never ever heard of it.
Yeah, I keep meaning to play them for you when you come over, but I don't know, some other heavy metal band kind of takes over.
Next time.
All right.
Yep. Another one I picked up from Kevin, and a band that's been reissuing their back catalog, which I really, really love. They're these guys right here, UFO with Lights Out.
Nice.
This is a great reissue, you know, triple gatefold, you know, like it goes and goes, and very well put together package, you know, good liner notes, and once again, you know, they include a live show from April 2nd, 1977, which is actually the first show that kicked off the Lights Out tour. I might have talked about this album on one of our other shows, but yeah, you know what? I streamed this one lots this year, and it's just great to get it in a collected format. And they just put out maybe a month or two ago Obsession. They reissued that one, and I may get that for Christmas.
That's the thing. Like us doing this now, or just a few days before Christmas, there might be some additions to. Maybe that'll be for 2025.
Yep.
Okay, so my metal album of the year probably will come to no surprise to anyone, because it's one of the very few metal albums I think that came out this year of high quality. But it is, of course, Invisible Shield by Judas Priest. Yeah, I knew you would have that there too. And it's just a fantastic listen from start to finish. It is so awesome. They just Judas Priest is in such a groove right now with this album and Firepower that came before it. Mm-hmm. If you're a cynically, it's more of an Andy Sneap, if that's how you say his name, Sneap album, because he's the producer of this, and he also produced Firepower. And he's been producing a ton of metal acts lately, like Saxon, Overkill, Accept. You listen to any of these albums that he's produced, and they all have a certain sound, and they're all good. They're great. I was kind of debating whether to add Saxon and stuff like that, but I don't have physical copies of the albums. The only one I have a physical copy of is Judas Priest. But still, there's something about Judas Priest. They're just, they still have their magic, their whatever they bring to the music, you know, their own je ne sais quoi. They still got, and Halford could still sing. He still has the pipes. I don't know if he's blessed or if it's studio magic. Maybe it's a bit of both. I don't know.
Yeah.
But great sounding album from start to finish. So good. I hope they keep making more. Every few years, just come out with another one until they can't do it anymore.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and Andy Sneap is their touring guitar player as well.
That's right. Yeah.
So he's kind of almost a full-fledged member of Judas Priest. Be honest with you, I haven't listened. For me, Saxon, I can get into the 80s stuff, except same thing. I haven't really kept up currently with what they're doing, so I wouldn't know what the sound.
If you listen to, like, you like this, and you want more, the albums that Saxon has put out recently, like Thunderbolt, and I can't remember the name of the latest one. It's red. There's some red in it, but they're so good. And Biff has the vocal. It's almost the same kind of vocaling styling that Halford's doing. The latest Accept album, Testament's been putting out stuff that this Sneap guy keeps producing, and It's all great. It's all good. I love it. I understand that some people don't like it because there's a certain sound there. Like it sounds all alike. Like if you put them all together back to back and just fed it to someone who's not really into the genre, they would probably think it was all from the same band. But to me, there's like nuance there. Like I can tell, because I'm a fan of it, just like hip hop all sounds alike to me. But if you ask a hip hop fan, they'll be able to tell you who's who, right? They'll be able to tell you the Jay-Z from the Kanye West or whatever, whereas I'm just lost, right?
Gotcha.
So, I get it. I get that criticism, but I dig it. I like it.
Yeah, it's all that matters, man. What you find good old ear candy. And Invincible Shield is, I checked out what I listened to most on Apple this year as my number one metal album, and it was Invincible Shield, because when that first came out, I think him and Dickinson's album, or Priest and Dickinson's album, came out either the same week or a week apart, and those two were just back to back for about 2 months because there's really nothing else coming out.
Yeah.
And, Priest totally stepped it up on that record for sure, man. So down to my last two.
All right.
Kind of doing 1.5, but I'll do that in a second. So remember earlier on when I talked about buying albums on a reissue, which I'm not big of because I already have it. Well, I guess I kind of caught the buzz after I went and seen Iron Maiden, because when I came home, I started thinking about the Power Slave album. Even though it was a Somewhere in Time focus tour, I was scrolling Amazon, and they had the reissue of Power Slave, and I had to get this.
Nice. Just
to the fact of, they kind of went all. There we go.
Look at that.
But
I don't know if mine has that. It might not have that.
But this is the real selling point for me. Check out the vinyl.
Yeah, I definitely do. You got the super version of it. I don't have that.
Look at that.
Whoa. Mine's just boring old plain black vinyl.
Oh, that's the one I had. And then once I saw this, and I was like, ugh, I got to get it. Because it's so well done. There's no bonus tracks. There's nothing. It's just a straight ahead album that everybody has. But you know what? It's Maiden. They really went all out. Harris wrote some new liner notes for it. And let's see if I can get it out. There you go. There's that, which is on the inside record sleeve, and that, and there's the lyrics. So yeah, you know what, a very, very well put together package. Love me the Maiden. So yeah, I had to get this one for sure. And they also redid Somewhere in Time album, I think it's on yellow vinyl, but I'm good with that, my original copy. But this one I had to get just because that artwork is just fantastic. Yeah. That's that.
I understand.
So, are you done?
I'm done.
You're done?
I don't want to say what I did.
Huh?
Never mind.
So anyways, back in November, I went to a record fair, and I actually still got records that Kevin doesn't even know that I picked up, which I'm holding for our next episode.
Oh.
When we get to it. But this past weekend, I started off the show with a European import, and one that I just picked up on this past Saturday, which I was really psyched that my buddy Chris brought in on vinyl from Europe, is this.
Oh, Live Without a Net. That's so cool.
Yes, sir. And it's the full show that everybody has on the VHS or DVD or VHS, Blu-ray, whatever, Laserdisc, whatever it came out back in '86. But yeah, it's basically the straight dub right to audio. And I listened to the first record yesterday, and it's really sounds good. So yeah, been poking away at when he brings stuff in like that, I gotta pounce. Really glad I got it. Just love that. Yeah.
It's a fun show to watch. I think I've only seen it on YouTube. I've never seen did it even come out on DVD? I don't know.
It did.
Did? Okay.
Yeah, I actually got a copy of it somewhere in one of my boxes, and
Okay.
they put it out maybe 10 years ago, maybe. But it was
Yeah.
just like, it's like there was no packaging to it. It's just like they just slapped it into DVD mode and
Right. Right.
threw it out there. They didn't. I think the Van Halen fans knew about it. It's not like they did a whole big, hey, you know, Live Without a Net's anniversary reissue. No, none of that. This one
Right.
would actually be reissued on vinyl,
Yeah.
CD. Like they should actually put the time into it, but it's
Yeah.
Van
Because
Halen.
10 years ago, they would have been in like David Lee Roth phase.
Yep.
Don't promote any Sammy Hagar stuff.
No,
Yeah.
that's true too. So yeah, it was real cool. And Chris said, "Hey, I can get you this one." I'm like, "Yeah, get me that one."
Yeah.
So pretty happy score. I got some other scores there, but I'm gonna hold them till the next time we do this.
Cool. Okay. Well, that was an hour. That's not too bad.
No.
We did top 10, top 13.
Top 13, best of, man.
A lot of content there. I think we moved for an hour.
Yep.
That's it. Hopefully 2025 brings us some more music goodness.
Absolutely.
More vinyl. Is there anything you're looking forward to next year? That
I hope
on the spot.
Yeah, no, the one I really hope what Maiden will do is put out somewhere on tour, like this latest show out on. I know they tend to do that after each tour. They put out the live, especially with it being Nico's last tour.
Yeah.
I think it'd be pretty cool. I mean, I just love that show. So I think, just to get those songs in a format would be pretty cool. And it was kind of neat when I went down to Chris's pop-up store on the weekend. He actually had on vinyl a it's either 2 LP or 3 LP somewhere on tour show from Liverpool from '86. And I looked at it, it was the full show, and then I pulled it up on YouTube, and it was kind of hard hearing it in the shop. But then I read some reviews, and somebody said it's one of the best audience recordings you could ever hear or ever listen to. And I thought, I want to.
Yeah.
But I was like, damn, if I would have said soundboard sound or whatever, I would have pounced on that and grabbed it for sure. But
yeah,
hopefully they officially put something out from this tour that they just finished up. I really look forward to that. And outside of that, we'll see what comes, right? Because I always think at the start of the year, geez, not too much coming out. And then by the end of the year,
a lot. Yeah.
So, and you know what? Had a good time when we were down, me and Suey were down in Sudrock and hanging out with you guys. It was always fun hitting the shops and finding records and pushing shit on you. And probably
and unfortunately, next year we're not going to have Toys R Us.
Yeah, it's a drag.
Yeah, it's going to be Cosmic Dave's, and that's it for Sudbury. It's pretty.
Oh well, one stop shopping. Sure, he's happy.
Well, for me, yeah, I do want to find some more Cinderella. I do. That'd be an awesome subset to complete. I'm looking forward to AC/DC announcing a Toronto show. Come on, guys. Making me nervous here because I thought about buying tickets for Detroit, but then I don't know if I'll be able to get into the States by the time they play because I think Trump will have taken over by then, and who knows? Yeah. Maybe it'll be the 51st state. Who knows? But I'm looking forward to seeing AC/DC whenever that gets, and then just whatever else happens.
Yeah, AC/DC announced a Minneapolis show, which Thunder Bay is 6 hours away. But nah, you know what? For me, it's Maiden, right? Like, that's where and no Cliff Williams, no Deke. So just joking. And good on them. And I'm sure they'll play those markets for sure sooner or later. But the one show that's been announced for Thunder Bay is in July. They're doing a 3-day classic rock festival, and pretty sure I'll go to it. But it's a lot of bands that always come to Thunder Bay. And when I say classic rock bands, I'm talking the Canadian bands. Like we're getting Headpins, Street Heart. The Friday night headliner is Lou Gramm. 5440s here. Saturday night, they haven't announced a headliner.
Luke Graham is touring on his own?
Yeah.
Wow.
Friday night, he's the jukebox hero.
Wow.
And Sunday, geez, I don't remember who's headlining Sunday, but it's basically a lot of bands, Troopers come in here, part of the package. There's a lot of bands, and the price for the 3 days, it's running about maybe $250. So
For one ticket?
For 3 days.
Okay, well, yeah.
Yeah, for one ticket. If you were to go for one day, I think it's $150, which is
okay. Yeah.
So the only real band that is still they're not original guys, but the one band that interests me, of course, is Big Wreck, and they're playing the Saturday night, but they're not headlining, so they're playing before the headliner, whoever it's going to be.
Yeah.
For an hour.
Let me tell you, I don't know what the plans is for this event, but when we saw Big Wreck last year, they were also not the headliner. The headlining band was a local Sudbury band called Toe Jam Tequila. And so all my friends and I, we got tickets to go see Big Wreck. And we thought we're only going to put on a small show because this Toe Jam Tequila is the headliner. But Big Wreck put on a full 2-hour show, and they were amazing. And they did not hold back for Toe Jam Tequila. And when they were done, we started leaving, and we were kind of impressed by the amount of people who were staying to see Toe Jam Tequila. So I'm kind of curious, but it was an outdoor event, and I think it was already getting to be 11 o'clock, and getting Sarah's got to get home before midnight, or she'll turn into a pumpkin. So,
so I just pulled it up here on my phone, and so the Friday night is Streetheart, Headpins, Trooper, and Lou Graham. Saturday is
and Trooper's not Trooper anymore, right? They're just like
we don't need
dudes.
Don't need to go down that road.
All right.
And then Saturday is the opening act is Local, which is I guess a local band, or maybe
whoever they're gonna find.
And then there's an incredibly hip tribute act.
Okay.
Followed by
That's gonna be fun.
Took with Todd Kearns, his cover band, but they do all Canadian cover tunes. So
right, yeah,
it'll be interesting. And 5440, Big Wreck, and then the announcement coming soon for the Saturday night headliner. So says the website. And then on Sunday, it's Local again, that huge act from Thunder Bay called Local, and also by Prism.
They're still around?
Obviously, they're going to be around July 20th. And Harlequin,
Chilliwack's awesome. We did see them this year.
Kim Mitchell.
Oh, he's good too. I saw him last year.
And the Sunday night headliner is The Kids Are Hot Tonight, baby.
Oh.
Bye-bye.
Nice.
So, yeah. And but these are generally, a lot of these acts come to our town during our Canadian Lakehead exhibition, the fair, and you can get in. Like I got in to see 5440 a few years ago for $12.
That's awesome,
right? So, and Kim Mitchell for $12. So, but you know what? Probably be something to do, and we'll go from there. But we'll see, because they spike the prices after April, so we'll have to make a decision by then of what we're doing, whether it's a yay or a nay. But they did the Country Fest last year, and they brought in Blake Shelton, which I heard was not cheap, because not only did Blake Shelton show up, so did his wife, Gwen Stefani. So I'm sure that was a big meal ticket price, So,
well, she didn't perform, did she?
I think she did hop up on stage. Not sure. I mean, they did probably a song together, and then he got back on his plane, and he was probably out of Thunder Bay before the first person got out of the stand.
Right.
But so who knows? Maybe they thought, holy crap, we're not paying that kind of money again. So we'll get Loverboy. And
I wouldn't mind seeing Loverboy.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, good tunes, everybody hears them on classic rock. So I think by the time, and a lot of it is weather, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be pretty unpredictable. around.
Yeah, that did happen to us for July Talk. It was an outdoor show, and it was hit or miss whether they were actually going to perform, because it wasn't so much rain, it was the thunder, the lightning.
Yeah.
If they heard thunder, they would stop the event.
Yeah.
And wait 30 minutes to go by, and if they heard thunder again, then they would delay it another 30 minutes. And then, and so as long as they didn't, because they were afraid that lightning was going to hit and someone was going to get killed and all this stuff. But eventually, July Talk did get on stage at like 11 o'clock at night, and I gave Sarah an anti-pumpkin pill so she could stay out past midnight.
That's awesome.
That was a good time.
She's a trooper.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, folks, thanks for tuning in, watching. Hopefully, if you found something that me and Kevin dug, you might dig, and check it out and give us some feedback and tell us we're doing a great job or we suck. And we're okay with it either way. And we'll drop another episode next year.
So do the bell, click on the bell so you get the notification, because it could happen anytime next year. There's no set schedule, so you don't want to miss it.
No.
All right. That's it. Goodbye, everybody.